This is Business Owners Drinking with Lawyer Humans. I'm your host, Shreya Lay, and over the next 10 minutes or so, I am going to be enjoying a tasty adult beverage with a fellow business owner. Hey everyone, this is another episode of Business Owners Drinking with Lawyer Humans. I am here with Sam Mukerji.
Hello.
He owns a law firm in Houston, Texas.
I do.
And do you want to tell us a little bit about what your law firm does?
Sure. We're a plaintiff's personal injury law firm. We represent plaintiffs that are injured due to no fault of their own, and we usually go after individuals and companies. If they're individuals, they typically have insurance. That's really the insurance company's money we're trying to recover. If they're a company, then it's usually the company's pockets or their insurance if they happen to have insurance.
Okay. So a lot of people may not necessarily know what a plaintiff is. So that would be like your everyday person, sort of.
Right. Anybody that's looking to bring a claim or a lawsuit, I guess prior to the lawsuit being filed, they're just what we call an insurance claimant. Once they filed a lawsuit, they're the plaintiff and they're suing a defendant to recover money for their injuries and other damages.
Okay. And how long have you had this law firm?
That's an interesting question. I've been a lawyer for almost 10 years, and I went out on my own about 7 years ago. Had a partner at that time, lasted about a year, then had another partner for about 4 or 5 years. And then as of January 1st, 2015, I've been out on my own. So it's just now known as the Mukerji Law Firm.
And how do you like being out on your own versus having a partner?
It's got its pros and cons. The pros are obviously I'm the one that makes all the decisions. The cons are primarily I have to wear many more hats. I've got to take care of more things at the office. Mm-hmm. If there's a fire to put out, I'm probably the only one that can put it out as opposed to having a partner in crime help out with that sort of thing.
Yeah. Oh, and I forgot to mention we're drinking Topo Chicos. You were saying that you were more recently introduced to these. They're mineral water, very popular in Texas.
Sure.
I want to say primarily.
Right.
In Seattle, we don't get these.
Right.
People are very adamant about Topo Chico only.
Okay. Yeah. So I didn't unfortunately know about Topo Chico. I'd see it everywhere I went. Didn't know what it was. Didn't know if it was Sprite or vodka or what, or mineral water. I never bothered to pick it up and actually read it.
I'm sure some people add vodka to it.
That's true. Mineral water and vodka. But one of our associate attorneys, Winfield Williams, he drinks these religiously. Mm-hmm. And our fridge at the office is always full of Topo Chico. So one day I decided to grab one and try it, and I've been stealing them from him ever since. Actually, he knows about it. But
it's more fun when you think that you're stealing them.
There
right?
you go. Yeah. It doesn't help that the fridge is 10 feet away from his office. Mm-hmm. It makes it a lot harder to steal. Good stuff.
Okay. Do you have other entrepreneurs in the family? I didn't really. So my family didn't really understand my entrepreneurial tendencies. They kind of wanted, and I think this might be an Indian thing too, they want you to go this more traditional route of going and working at a big company. Sure. And, having the stability of that.
So interestingly enough, my dad's an engineer. Your dad's an engineer, right?
Petrophysicist,
okay.
But yeah.
Somewhat similar fields, same conservative thinkings as far as careers go. And in growing up as a child in college and right before law school, he worked for the city of Houston as an engineer, worked for Bechtel, Aramco in the Houston area. We lived in Saudi Arabia for a few years. And so he was never entrepreneurial at that point. But around his mid-50s, as he semi-retired from the city of Houston, he started his own company, an engineering consulting drafting company. And so he became an entrepreneur later on in his life.
Yeah, but no, my dad was the same. He worked at larger companies. I mean, he worked at Baker or Western Atlas and then Baker Hughes right. for 20 years. Before that, other big companies, and then kind of in his, I think probably in his 60s, he decided to go out on his own and try his hand at being an entrepreneur.
Okay, cool. How's that going?
Sometimes it goes really well, and then sometimes it does not. I feel like it's good that now he and I are working together because he's more risk averse than I am, and
Mm-hmm.
I'm more knowledgeable about how marketing works.
Okay.
And so for him, and it worked for him, but it was a lot of, relationships that he had built over the years that
Mm-hmm.
he was getting work from and going out there. I'm better at the following up and making sure that we continue to get the work.
Got it.
And so
Good. You guys seem to be a good team.
yeah, it
Good.
works out well. I've been enjoying it.
Good. Well, how much of your time is devoted to that company versus your law firm?
Most of my time is devoted to GeoBiz currently.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got
yeah.
it. Cool.
This podcast is kind of my baby.
Okay.
Within Lay Roots, and so, but the
Got it.
majority of Lay Roots is run by Colin,
Okay.
who's my husband. Yeah.
Well, this is the first podcast I've ever done. I've been on radio shows.
How is it so far?
It's great. We're in my office, so
Yeah.
this being in this building is kind of like my security blanket.
Yeah.
How like
Good.
depositions go. I feel more relaxed in my office than I would in a defense attorney's office.
Would you say that, you have a family, you have a wife and kids, congratulations on the newest edition.
Thank you.
Have they always been like very supportive of you kind of going out on your own and your entrepreneurial tendencies? Are there times where they're very stressed out about it, or?
So it's funny, when I started my firm, my wife's an attorney as well. She works at another litigation law firm. She does first party insurance work. So when I went out on my own, we had absolutely zero savings, typical student loans.
Yeah.
Had a mortgage. We just had our first kid. And you got to understand, my wife, around the time I graduated law school, I applied to be an FBI agent, took that exam. So she thought I was going to have a very, conservative salary, 9 to 5 job. So when I told her I wanted to go out on my own, it took her a little bit by surprise. I wouldn't say she's completely risk averse, but she has said many times that she would probably never own her own business or firm. And so the idea of, although I'm her husband, the idea of somebody who was making all the decisions, deciding how much money we were going to have and how well the firm was going to do, like not having any control over that, I'm sure scared her a little bit. We did miss a lot of credit card payments, deferred student loans a few times, made sure to pay the mortgage on time. We were able to do that. But the first year was very, very scary. But we saw a trend of the firm growing within that first year. Unfortunately, personal injury, I don't know if the average lay person knows how attorneys get paid on personal injury cases, but we don't do billable hours like 95% of lawyers do. We get paid at the end of a case. We take cases on what's called a contingent fee, which I think all lawyers know about. I don't know if the average layperson does. And so for a case to resolve, a personal injury case, and to disperse the funds from the insurance company, on average takes 6 to 9 months from signing up the case. And so for the first 6 months, I didn't get any fees on any personal injury cases, and to supplement that and to pay the rent for the firm and the electric bill and whatever else I had at the time, I did do some criminal defense work. Okay. Which you get paid up front. And so that helped.
And good litigation experience. Exactly.
I was able to, I had some criminal experience before, but I was able to do some trials in that period of time where I was concerned about cash flow. And then once I had enough personal injury cases, although I was reluctant to get rid of my criminal docket because I did enjoy doing some criminal defense work, ultimately I made the decision that I had to in order to have the personal injury side of the firm thrive and grow. And at this time, I don't do criminal defense at all.
Okay. Yeah. So, speaking of that, you're talking kind of about whether what lay people understand versus what attorneys understand. What would you say is maybe the number one thing that clients who come into your law firm don't know that maybe they should, or that it would be helpful for them to know?
A lot of, 99% of our clients, they have been injured before they come to us for representation for their injury. And so one of the most common questions we have is, are they paid as they accumulate medical bills. They're worried about their ER bill. Although many people have health insurance now, there's still co-pays, deductibles, that sort of thing, out-of-pocket expenses that they are concerned about. So a lot of people expect to get paid as the case progresses. Unfortunately, you have to finish up your medical treatment, whether it's just an ER visit or there's physical therapy involved or surgery, and accumulate all the bills and records and then submit that to the insurance company and then get a lump sum check at the end. If you have, God forbid, a long-term or permanent injury or disability as a result of the injury-causing incident, then you get a surgical cost estimate or a report by an expert saying this is what the cost of care is going to be in the future. And so that makes it tough for a lot of people to pay for certain things in their life, living expenses, being off of work while they're waiting for that check to come in, which, although on average is 6 to 9 months, can take up to 3 years, 4 years, depending on various factors.
That's good to know. On a lighter note, you guys went to the Texans game recently?
Unfortunately, we did.
Was it the most recent one where they lost
Correct.
30-0?
They lost 30-0. Although I do consider myself a native Houstonian because I spent my childhood up to age 6 here and then moved back here in my mid-teens. I'm a New York Giants fan, but when it comes to the AFC, the Texans are my favorite team. My son, who's about to turn 8, is very much a Texans fan. I think that's his favorite sports team out of all sports and obviously out of all teams.
Does he like J.J. Watt?
He loves J.J. Watt. He's got he wore a J.J. Watt jersey to the game, but he was pretty upset. I remember he reminded me about how upset I used to be when the Mets or the Knicks or the Giants lost as a kid. So I told him he's young and he's got decades of football ahead of him, and chances are good that the Texans will probably win a Super Bowl in his lifetime.
Yeah, that's true.
Hold out for that.
I was watching the Seahawks game and almost had a heart attack yesterday because they lost because the Vikings missed the field goal, essentially. Yeah,
I saw that afterwards. You must have been having the opposite reaction of the last Super Bowl the Seattle Seahawks were in. So that's good.
Yeah,
so maybe now you guys can be in the Super Bowl.
Yeah, maybe. Hopefully.
Good.
Fingers crossed.
Who do you guys play next?
No idea.
Okay.
I have been a bad fan. I haven't been keeping up with it.
Got it.
I will find out before the next game.
Okay. Is Colin
that's all that matters.
Where's Colin originally from?
He's originally from Albuquerque.
Okay.
So they don't.
There's no football.
Yeah, they
NFL
don't have
teams.
football. NFL. I don't know if they have an NBA team.
I don't think they do.
But I was actually, I don't think he really became like a football fan until he came to law school in New Orleans.
Oh, yeah.
We were in New Orleans. The Saints won the Super Bowl.
That's right.
And it was right around Mardi Gras time.
Oh, my God.
And so it was luckily our third year of law school because otherwise we probably would have failed all of our classes.
If it was your first year, that would have been tough.
Yeah. Because it was the Super Bowl, and then Mardi Gras, and then St. Patrick's Day.
Okay.
All within, I want to say 2 months, time span. And so it was just a constant revelry.
Got it. Cool.
Fest.
Well, if there are any professionals that work with personal injury lawyers, we were actually thinking of having our first St. Patty's Day party. We're going to be calling it Lawyers and Leprechauns.
Oh,
it's probably going to be in our parking lot, and we're going to have kegs, a DJ, that sort of thing.
Awesome.
So if anyone wants to come, whether you're in the medical field or the legal field, on that date, I think it's on I don't know what day of the week it is actually, give us a call or just show up. If you send me the invite, I'll link to it. Okay. On the blog post. We don't have the invite yet, but I will eventually link to it. There you go. We're in the very early stages of planning it, but a lot of attorneys have Christmas parties and other types of parties. I just realized nobody really does a St. Patty's Day party. Okay. And we're actually in the heart of Houston. We're right outside of downtown, and we're surrounded by bars,